Satnam, beautiful. How are you? Shiv Chankar. It's actually a really hot day. Since my surgery on Wednesday, it's actually been quite cloudy, and I came out for a walk today, and whew, sweating, baby. Anyway, one of the things I love doing when I come out for a walk is to take a different route, you know, to take a turning that I don't know. And today I ended up here, and this is the Teen Memorial Garden. And behind me on that grass there's a labyrinth. So I just walked that labyrinth. Didn't know that it was there. Just took a turn and was like, let me just go and see what happens if I move off the path. And then here there is this, which reminds me of our Wheel of Wellness. It's called the Wheel of Enlightenment. And the sign in the middle, may peace prevail on earth, in 8 different languages. No matter what language, may peace prevail. And then the wheel, I'll read it to you here, give you a good view. So it says, the Enlightenment Wheel. You're here for one reason, and one reason only. Know that you're enlightened now. This is a geometric representation of your highest self in perfect balance with the universe. This sacred wheel has been a symbol of awakening for thousands of years. You can't argue with thousands of years, can you? Anything that sustains time. You're asked to embrace the 12 qualities of the wheel, I'll talk about this in a moment, which are the portals into the experience you're seeking. Begin with courage, I have a note about courage as well, and move to your left as each quality leads to the next. Allow your eyes to wander through the geometric patterns. See the geometric patterns there? And trust that your soul will lead you to the portals of experience you are seeking. There is nowhere else to go. There is nowhere else to go. And that's so true, right? Because so often we're trying to get there. Whatever there is, trying to get there. And so often what we don't realize is that within that word there is the 4-letter word here, right? Perhaps we don't want to be there, we want to be here. Yeah. So the 12 stages are courage, and you can have a look at that. Courage, patience, wisdom, certainty, compassion, joy, clarity, understanding, depth, generosity, abundance, and agape. If you had 12 principles to live by, it seems to me that those would be 12 fantastic principles, that if we could just use those as a guideline, our lives may be very much richer. Courage. Actually got a text from one of our group members of Get Your Happy Back today, who's having a pretty tough time, and she was asking what the theme was for the next season of Get Your Happy Back, which starts on September 20th. And I wrote back and said that it was courage. The theme was going to be courage, to sit in to be able to sit in the ring of fire of pain, right? Because that's what takes courage. It doesn't take courage to live a life that's going well, right? That's easy. We know how to do that. But this is about how to live life when it's not feeling so good, right? Things are not quite how we want them. Out of our control. So much is out of our control. We think that it's not, but it is. I was thinking about that this morning. Just before this incident with my kidney at the beginning of June, I really felt like I got my body under control, you know, like I'd found this place. I was like, so, hey, hi there. I'd found this place where I was just happy, and it was working. I'd got a rhythm, and it was good, right? It was really good. And then I'm sick for 3.5 months. And my kidney's asking for way more than me just feeling good in my body. And there's a little part of me that now wants to think that I have to go back, you know, that I'm back where I was. But I'm not. I can never go back. You see, this is where we get ourselves. It's like that there and here part. We're always thinking we're going back. We're always going forward. We don't want to go back to where we were, right? We have to be gentle with ourselves along the way. We have to have courage, because it's those dark parts, our shadow self, that we don't want to see, but it's our shadow self that holds the key. As a poem, it's our shadow self we don't want to see, but it's our shadow self that holds the key. So it's interesting that I would, just got caught up in my backpack down there. It's interesting that I would come here and that this wheel would be here today. It is actually the 16th anniversary of my fire. Technically it was yesterday, on the date it was yesterday, but it was a Sunday, so this time on a Sunday 16 years ago I was in the hospital with all my belongings burned, and I was about to meet courage, you know, in a very, very different way to the courage that I thought. You know, before I thought courage was me choosing to take the New York State Bar when I was living in London. You know, no, that's courageous, but this courage is different. It's a different kind. This card says, courage is the willingness to face your self-made fears, release them, and flow with the guidance of your inner light. Perhaps that's been one of my biggest blessings and lessons from this journey, is that it's more inside of me than it is outside. And it's more inside of you than it is outside as well. And we've just got to tap into it. Shall we have a walk around the wheel? I wasn't planning on doing this, but shall we? Shall I walk you around whilst I'm here now? We might as well, haven't we? And see what's on here. I'll try and give you a nice view while I'm doing it. Hopefully you can hear me. I didn't bring my headset, so I know some of you get a bit upset with me when you can't quite hear me. I'm sorry. Human being, feeling away on the planet here, you know. Patience is number 2. So patience is the ability to hold a vision of the highest order and allow your inner light to manifest in the time of its own accord. How often do we want to rush things, you know? At the time of the fire, I was trying to get out of life as I knew it then. Didn't know how. Career transition, it was all pretty much the same, you know. Couldn't see a way out, but then had a fire. And boom, I was out in 3 months. So patience to know when the time is right, when all the environment is and the conditions are right. Wisdom is knowing that knowing that all you are, all you see, and all you will ever be is connected to the inner light that is you. You see, it keeps coming back to that inner light in you. How wonderful is that? Certainty comes from giving up belief in an outside source in exchange for knowing that you are the inner light. This is just perfect. I love this. I normally come on this walk at the Santa Rosa marshlands. I do this walk a lot. Never knew this was here. Lived in Sebastopol for 6 years. Never knew this was here. Compassion is the deep caring for yourself and all that you see, because you know that all you see is one with you in the inner light. You see, here's another lesson that I got, was I used to want to be independent. I was all about being independent. And one day, walking across the street in San Francisco, I got hit by a bolt of, not lightning, wisdom, that said, no, interdependent, love, interdependent. While one hurts, we all hurt. So it's not just about whether we're all good. It's about whether everyone's good. It's the Bodhisattva principle. Joy. I often say the presence of pain is the absence of joy. Joy comes from knowing yourself as the inner light and using the light to serve and help others and yourself. I think this is the big chasm that many of us enter in our 40s and 50s and beyond, of having achieved something for ourselves, but feeling that gap in what is our place in the world, right? How do we help others now that we have whatever it is that we have? There's still a gap, and oftentimes that gap can be that interdependence, that bringing in the community, right? Putting ourselves around like-minded people and helping those that we can, doing what we can with what we have. Yeah. Clarity. Clarity is a good one to have, isn't it? Everything's better with a bit of clarity. Clarity comes when you realize you're viewing the world through a veil. And you begin to see through the eyes of the inner light. Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because, you know, if you'd have said to me that I should take 3.5 months off, essentially anything that wasn't urgent, I might have laughed at you. And yet, when sickness comes, or circumstance, we can do these things. So often what we think is the real world is, it is, but there's a veil, and it's not quite, we're not quite seeing it, right? Clarity. Understanding. Whew. Understanding. Doesn't misunderstanding cause so much strife in the world? Understanding is seeing with the eyes of the inner light and feeling the grace of the one before you. As you give understanding, you know the truth. Beautiful. Depth is knowing that the inner light is all that you are and that you will ever be, and surrendering to the truth. Can't argue with that. Generosity is realizing that to give to another is to give from your inner light, knowing that your cup will be continuously refilled and refreshed. We're out in public, we've got people on speakerphone. Sending love. 'Tis my spiritual practice to love those people who are on speakerphone in public places, I have to say, and who hold a lot of conversations in public. Though I guess in many ways I'm holding a conversation in public right now, so there you go. Abundance, penultimate one, is knowing that the inner light that you are holds all and everything and will manifest all you will ever need. And finally, agape. Agape is loving yourself unconditionally as the inner light, because you are the one that is endless. Thanks for the note. Gotta run. Bye, sweetheart. Love you, because you are the one with that endless light of love. So, there you go. The Teen Memorial Youth Garden here in Sebastopol. This is Shiv Chankar. There's a few more people coming out from their service now. So I am going to love you and leave you. 4 days post-surgery, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yep. And I'm feeling pretty good. I have some sensations going on. I'm not quite sure what that is. But definitely my walk was easier than it has been in the last 3.5 months. I'm very, very grateful. That's humbling times. It's really time to do the things that make your heart happy, right? So often we think that's the big things, but for me, that is often taking this walk, talking to you. I know that sounds odd, but I do like making videos and sharing with you, and reading my books and writing. And that's what I've been doing more of while I've not been feeling so great, and it certainly is very soul-soothing. So, you know, what's possible for you? What areas of your life do you need to bring some courage to? What areas of your life do you need a little more clarity? Where do you need a little more understanding, either of yourself or of others? Where could you love yourself some more? Where could you have more joy, right? It doesn't negate the pain, but it does balance and offset it. It's all about what we make of it, right? So I'm going to walk back. I'm going to meet Samaj. He rode into town. I'm looking forward to it when I get back on my bike with him. But as I say, just taking it one step, one day at a time. This is Shiv Chankar, and I love you very, very much.